So, hello. Test. My name is Phoebe. We're going to do a podcast today, and it's taken me just about 3 years to get this done. I hope this sounds okay. Fucking hell, I'm tired. Hi everyone, I made it to my first podcast episode after doing many outtakes. So here I am, I'm going to do a podcast for you, tad nervous. So my name is Phoebe and my podcast is called In Charge, and I'm going to be uploading onto Spotify, iTunes and onto YouTube. So I guess this first episode is going to be just about me and my journey to where I am right now and why I've decided to start a podcast called In Charge. I mean, let's start with that. My podcast is called In Charge because I've been in charge of my business since the age of 17, and I am now ripe old age of 28. So we are 10 years into business. It is our 10-year anniversary this year. So it's all very, very exciting and a very exciting year to be starting a podcast. At the age of 7, do you know what? Let's not start at 17. Let's scroll back. Since the age of 3, I have been performing, dancing, all your classic ballet, jazz, modern classes. Always loved performing. I have always been quite a bossy child. My mum has told me many a story. One of them being when you're at a school assembly in primary school and you do like a sharing assembly. We were having our sharing assembly. I was like 6, 7, maybe 8. And we all, obviously each child has their own line to say, and this child wasn't standing up to say their line. And I got up and told them to stand up. And I was like, get up. It's your line, it's your line. So yeah, I've always been quite bossy from a young age. I grew up sorry, I'm just grabbing my tea. I grew up in East London. I was born in Walthamstow and then sort of spent my life in Wanstead, which is a beautiful, beautiful place to live. And I wish I could afford to live there now still, but I can't. Please bear with. But it's too expensive. Not this much more expensive than living in St Albans. From a young age, I've been performing. At the age of 6 or 7, me, my mum, my dad and my sister, we sort of uprooted our lives and we moved to the south of France. This was such a big sort of pivotal moment in my life personally. You know, when you're a child and obviously you go through so much experiences, etc. And then 10 years later, 20 years later, you don't really remember much as a child. I remember every single thing about that 1 year that we lived in the south of France. In that 1 year that we lived in France, I can remember pretty much everything. I remember a lot of that year. We moved to a very, 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 very rural south of France village. We literally lived up a mountain. So you got to our village and then it was like another 10-minute drive up a mountain. And we lived in a little hamlet. It was literally like 5 houses. And I was thrown into a school where nobody could speak English and I had no choice but to learn French. So luckily enough, within a month, because I was so young, I picked up French, and it's one of my, I wouldn't say party tricks, but I can speak fluent French still, which is pretty cool, I think. And I picked up an accent as well when I was living there. So the south of France, very rural, literally right next to the border of Spain, so Andorra way. So we were in the Pyrenees. It was just incredible. The culture, the food, the people. It was a really pivotal moment in my sort of young life and doing something new. And I just will forever be grateful to my parents for taking me to a different country and doing something crazy. Like if I ever have kids and I get the chance to do that, absolutely would do that. Cup of tea. I don't want it to go cold. Sorry, guys. So we came back and then we moved back to Wanstead, and I carried on performing, going to sort of amateur classes, amateur performing arts classes, etc. And then when I was in year 7, year 8, my parents split up and we stayed in East London for a while. And then in year 9, when I was in year 9, we moved over to St Albans and I went to Marlborough, secondary school called Marlborough. Again, another sort of big pivotal move in my life. I went to a secondary school in Essex before that when we were still living in East London, and then moved to St Albans, moved to Marlborough, and then was studying drama GCSE, and then went on to study A-levels, which I don't think I regret, but I wish I knew more about BTECs at the time because I'd so much rather do a performing arts BTEC. And then A-levels I studied drama, film studies and English lit. A-levels was a particularly hard time in my life. This is embarrassing fact, but I feel like getting to know each other and you're here watching/listening. I found my A-levels so stressful. Bearing in mind, A-levels, what are you, 16, 17? I was so stressed with my A-levels. Firstly, I couldn't sleep. My mum, I'll get my mum on this podcast sometime soon. I would literally shout and scream from my bedroom. You know when you just can't sleep and all you want to do is sleep? And I would literally shout, say, "Mum, turn the telly down." And I was just getting so angry. And then I'd also get so stressed and anxious that I actually wet the bed at the age of 17 because I found A-levels so anxiety inducing. So yeah, that's a fun fact about Phoebes. Cool. And then after A-levels, obviously we were all sort of, me and friends and everyone was sort of making a decision whether do we go to university, do we go to work, what do we do? Everyone was going to uni and I was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but I don't think this is it. So I decided to take a year out. I took a year out and basically I just remember sitting at my mum's dining room table and said, oh, wouldn't it be cool to set up your own performing arts school? Like, I've always loved performing. I'll always say that my drama teachers at Marlborough made such an impact on my life and was the reason why I started SASA. So my business is called SASA School of Performing Arts. I've run a performing arts school for 10 years now. Mr. Griggs and Mrs. Griggs, shout out to you guys because you're 100% probably the reason I started my performing arts school, because I was given so much support and encouragement from them. Am I supposed to be looking in the camera? I feel like my eyes are going all over the place. I remember doing a piece of A-level drama work and Mr. Griggs wrote on my coursework, like he was writing post-it notes on them. And I'm so gutted because post-it notes seem to be a thing in the beginning of my business journey. He wrote a post-it note saying, oh, this is really good. You'd make a really good director. And he stuck it on my coursework and I kept that post-it note. It was my very first notebook I used when in my first year of running my business. And in there I had the post-it note from Mr. Griggs saying about being a director. And then at my mum's dining room table, we drew SASA's logo, our very first logo, on a post-it note. And that was in there as well. And just ironically, after the first show that we did, I lost that notebook with those things in and I could never find it. And I'm kind of gutted about it, but I think, oh, maybe it's like universe shit. I don't know. So yeah, I came out of A-levels and I thought, okay, let me just work for a bit. And then I decided to set up SASA. I worked part-time at a model agency in London, which was the model agency my mum used to co-own with her ex-work partner, Nev's model agency. I worked there part-time as a client manager, which was great, all whilst I was trying to build SASA. So this is jokes because my first ever SASA class, we started out as a pure acting class, no sort of dance, musical theatre. It was just acting because that's what I was really into. I had 4 students. I'm going to find my old flyer and I'll chuck it up on this YouTube video. And I'll find some old pictures of us in class. Sorry, cup of tea. There was 4 students in that first class. One of them was my sister and one of them was my cousin. So like 2 students. And that's why I never get sort of massively scared setting up a new class and them having low numbers, because that's how I started and it's always worked out since then. So we started off like just 4 of us. And then slowly over that year, we built up and we put on our first show at the Maltings Theatre in St Albans. And like literally what a time of my life that was. It was so amazing, that sort of first year in business with guys, I had no business experience, no financial backing. I literally had £25 to pay for the venue hire every single week. And that was it. I think I was working part-time at Argos at that point, but I think I was 16. I left at 16, 17. So around the same time. So I was just working and then I was paying for the venue hire and then it grew. And then I thought I need to bring stuff back to my students in order to be able to teach them more, because I only had GCSE and A-level drama knowledge. I didn't have anything else. So that's when I thought, okay, I think I'm going to have to go to uni. I went to an open day and it was the only uni that I really liked because I went to before with my mum. It was Middlesex Uni in North London. And I got an unconditional offer, obviously straight away because I already had my A-level results because I took a year out. And I started... What year did I start? 2016, 17? Yeah, 2016 was my first year of uni. I just met like the most amazing people. It was the best experience. We were like going to Sicily, we were performing at National Theatre of Rome. The opportunities we were given on that course were just second to none, but also I think the people made it. We were such a good group of friends and creatives at that uni, and you know, I still speak to them, not all of them. We've lost touch a lot, but I still speak to some of my uni friends like Tida and Laura, just that group of us that went to Sicily that once to perform a show in an open air like Roman amphitheatre in Sicily was just the most crazy, amazing experience. People can ask, like, why did I set up my business? And I think it's just because when I moved to St Albans, everything was musical theatre, and I just really wanted like a straight acting class. So I sort of set it up sort of semi for myself, even though I wasn't in it, but also as a young person, helping give other young people a voice was such a big reason for me. And to be able to create work that we wanted to create and that wasn't dictated by someone else, that was a big sort of driver. Anyway, going back to uni, third year of uni, guys, bearing in mind, whilst I was at uni, I was living in Oxford. I was commuting to North London backwards and forwards most days. Sometimes I'd stay at my mum's in St Albans for a couple of days, sort of each week to ease the load. And then in my third year at uni, I was also working part-time, literally on a Saturday morning, teaching musical theatre for another local performing arts school that was run by a lovely lady called Zoe Jackson, who's an amazing entrepreneur herself. And she owns a dance entertainment business called Living the Dream. And basically I was working for Zoe, and she approached me third year of uni and was like, I think I'm going to move to Dubai. Would you like to buy my business off of me, basically? And I was like, oh shit. Okay, so I've been given this massive opportunity at such a young age. She could see how hard I was working with my own performing arts school, which was just acting at the time. So there was a really big connection there. So she trusted me to take on her business. Bearing in mind, Living the Dream had been running, I think it's nearly been running for 20 years now. So it's probably double the age of Sasa. And I went to Live in the Dream when I was younger and did contemporary dance classes with Zoe. So it was all sort of like a full circle moment. So I bought Living the Dream's performing arts school arm, because they had performing arts school and the entertainment agency and that side of the business. So I bought the performing arts school from Zoe in 2018. So how old was I? I don't know, guys, I can't do maths. 96, 2006, 2016. I was 22. I was 20 fucking 2. I was so young. I bought this business of this lady. We rebranded. We became Sasa School of Performing Arts. That's when we did all of our classes. So acting, musical theatre, singing, street dance, contemporary dance, all the things, all the performing arts things. And yeah, and that was sort of another big pivotal moment in my life, was when I was sort of trusted to take over someone else's business and rebrand. So literally December 2018, I bought this business off of Zoe. January 2019, I inherited like 200 students, which was massive and was the biggest learning curve of my life. We were doing so much stuff. There was so much going on. And I was lucky enough that my mum has run her own business before. My dad's running and has run his own business before. So my parents were both business owners in their own right and entrepreneurs in their own right. So I had that as a support, but I had no financial support, guys. There was no investors. I bought that business off of Zoe and was essentially paying her on a commission basis. Yeah, was trying to make this business work, etc. So 2019, great, took on this business. 2019, I also graduated in July. 2020, obviously, COVID hit. The business was absolutely fucked. It was really bad. We were lucky enough that we got Arts Council funding, Cultural Recovery Fund, that really helped us through. But yeah, it was a bit of a shit show, if I'm honest, COVID times. And then we came out of COVID and I had to get a full-time job. Sasa was my full-time job before COVID. I was paying myself good money. I was literally having the time of my life at the age of 22, 23. And then COVID hit. Yeah, bad, very, very bad. And then we're sort of where we are now. We had to obviously build up after COVID. I had to take employed jobs. Theatre and events sort of go together. So after COVID, I fell into commercial and corporate events. And I became an event manager. And then, is it a year ago? It's not that long ago. Yeah, over a year ago, 18 months ago, I then started working for an events and branding company. So I did that for 18 months, all whilst trying to build Sasa up again and just work really, really hard. And then we are where we are now, where last June, so June 24, I packed in my full-time job and went back full-time Sasa, which is amazing. I'm also taking the odd sort of freelance job here and there just to give me like a financial sort of cash injection. I've just worked for Scene Presents agency for TikTok Global Awards at the Roundhouse, which is absolutely amazing. I've done ASOS Beauty Awards. We did a job for Nike, a job for Starbucks, like some really, really big people and big clients. And the events world is mental, and I love it because it just coincides with theatre so much. So yeah, and that's sort of where we are now. Lord knows it's not been easy. Building a business from complete scratch, literally, and I still to this day have had no investment, no financial backing. Guys, if I'm really, really honest, I didn't take our finances seriously until about 3 years ago, where I actually sat down with my accountant and wasn't just hiding away from my bank account, not like the business bank account, not wanting to look at it. It's been a real journey, and starting a business from young, you learn so much. I'm still learning so much, and learning to be a better manager, learning to be a better teacher, learning to be a better, it makes you try to be better in so many different areas of your life running a business. So that's kind of my story. I am really, really pushing the business this year in terms of content and really trying to push student numbers and bums on seats, because our business model works. It works really well, but we need kids in the door, and we need as many kids as possible in classes that we can cater for. Sasa for me is, obviously it was born out of my passion of wanting to be a performer myself. Went to uni and I came out as a production stage manager, really. But Sasa now is, how do people explain Sasa? It's so cringe, but it is a family. Feel like I've created something special, and I don't say that often because I don't always feel like I have, and that there's so much work to do all the time that I don't really step back. Sasa is a performing arts school, a part-time performing arts school. We provide high quality training for kids from little as 3 up until the ages of 21. You can come to us, the kids can come to us just to enjoy dancing, enjoy singing. But we also have our competition teams. We also have kids who really want to pursue it as a career. Sasa is just a place to nurture young people. We have our limited company and we have our community interest company, which sort of acts like a charity, if you like, that supports, our USP is supporting vulnerable and disadvantaged young people get access to the arts. People might think that in St Albans, Harpenden, like, you don't need that. There's not disadvantaged young people. There's a lot of pockets of poverty. There's a lot of kids who are on free school meals. I've got some statistics. I actually sent them to Jen yesterday on Slack about how many kids we've helped and how much funding we've received from different pockets of, like, St Albans District Council, Arts Council, Heart Sports Partnership. We've been lucky enough to be funded by local county councillors as well. So it has really been a journey. But it's not stopping here. I've got so much I want to do and want to achieve. The big dream is to become a fully fledged performing arts school, so providing daytime classes and qualifications like BTECs, diplomas, maybe even a degree one day. But there's no way we'd be able to afford our own building, for example. So I wouldn't want an investor, I don't think, after thinking about it for so long, because of the lack of control of it all. And decisions, them having a stake in my business. I don't think that's what I really want. So yeah, lots to do in 25, but that's sort of my first podcast episode, a little bit more about me. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please do share this on your sharing platforms. YouTube, I'm going to chuck it on there. I need to edit it, obviously. Spotify, etc. I will upload it. And then, yeah, we'll discuss what episode's going to be next. There's lots of episodes I want to do. I want to do an episode about working with friends and family, because basically my whole business all of us are friends and family and have known each other for years. I work alongside my sister, my mum, my auntie. I work alongside my best friend. You know, there's lots of trials and tribulations that come with that. Yeah, there's so much I want to talk about. So I'm going to plan it all out. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode. Here's going to be some outro music that will make it sound really cool and profesh. So yeah, have a lovely week. And yeah, cheers. Happy Tuesday.